Hello, boys and girls. So today I am reading the book Elf. And you can either listen and sit, or you can do the elf workout as I read you the book. So this workout includes every time you hear the word buddy, you do a jumping jack. Every time you hear the word elf or elves, you do a push-up or a plank. Every time you hear Christmas, you do a cross back lunge. Every time you hear Santa, you do a squat jump. Every time you hear New York City or something in the city, whether it's the Empire State Building or the Christmas store or the Lincoln Tunnel, okay, you do a jump tuck. And every time you hear cotton-headed nitty-muggin, which there's only two, you do a burpee. With the burpee, you can do a push-up or you can just do the plank and come back up. So are we ready? Here we go. Elf, based on the film written by David Birnbaum and illustrated by Kim Smith. Here we go. One of my favorite parts. We'll get to it. Here we go. This is the story of how Buddy the Elf saved Christmas. It's a story that begins many years ago. And on one Christmas Eve, Santa Claus slid down the chimney of an orphanage with a sack full of toys. And while he was eating some cookies the children had left out for him, a baby crawled into his sack. Right there. On Christmas morning, Santa and his elves were celebrating another successful year of gift giving when they heard a strange noise coming from the toy sack. It was a baby. One of the older elves adopted the baby and named him Buddy. Although Buddy grew twice as fast, he was no different than the other elf children, and he had more Christmas spirit than anyone. See him in school? The code of the elves: treat every day like Christmas. There's room for everybody on the nice list. The best way to spread Christmas cheer is singing loud for all to hear. But it wasn't always easy being a human in the elf's world. Buddy could never make toys as fast as the other elves. I'm the worst toy maker in the world. I'm a cotton-headed nitty-muggin. You're not a cotton-headed nitty-muggin. You're just special. Buddy did his best to fit in, but Papa Elf knew he had to tell Buddy the truth. And Papa Elf told the story of how Buddy came home to the North Pole as a baby. His human father, Walter, never knew that Buddy was born, and Walter lived in a magical place called New York City. But that wasn't all. Santa had one more surprising thing to tell Buddy. Your father, he's on the naughty list. No! Some people just lose sight of what's really important in life, Santa explained. That doesn't mean that you can't find his way again. Maybe all he needs is a little Christmas spirit. Buddy was determined to bring Christmas cheer to his father and to all of New York City if he could. Buddy said goodbye to Santa, then the elves and Papa Elf. He knew they would always be there for him. Bye, Buddy. Hope you find your dad. Buddy traveled through the 7 levels of the candy cane forest, past the sea of swirly, twirly gumdrops, and then he walked through the Lincoln Tunnel. Buddy quickly learned that New York City was truly a magical place. He made new friends, waving for a taxi. That's not making friends. He got his shoes shined. Okay if they're dirty. He ran circles through the revolving door. Sounds like fun, but not a good idea. And then he played hopscotch on the crosswalk. That's not safe. Finally, Buddy went to go see his father, who worked in the office of the Empire State Building. But Buddy's dad didn't want to see him. He didn't even believe that Buddy was his son. or an elf, and he ordered him to leave. Buddy was beginning to understand why Walter was on the naughty list. Buddy left feeling discouraged, but then he saw something that made him smile. A big store all decked out for Christmas. Inside, a girl named Jovi was decorating a tree. Buddy was glad to meet another human who shared his appreciation for elf culture. And Jovi told him that Santa would be visiting the store the next day. Buddy was so excited to see Santa again. Santa! I know him! I know him! Welcome, Santa! Buddy stayed up all night decorating the store in preparation for Santa's arrival. But when Santa arrived the next morning, Buddy realized that he was an imposter. You smell like beef and cheese. You're not the real Santa. You sit on a throne of lies. So Buddy ripped off his fake Santa beard and all the children screamed, "Ah!" He caused such a ruckus in the store that the store manager had Buddy's dad pick him up. Buddy met his dad's wife, Emily, and their son, Michael. They were much friendlier than his dad. And at dinner, Buddy told his family about the 4 main food groups of the elves: candy canes, candy corns, and syrup. They all have sugar. Buddy had a whole list of things that he wanted to do with his dad. Make snow angels for 2 hours, go ice skating, eat a whole roll of cookie dough as fast as we can, and snuggle. But Buddy's dad didn't want to do any of those things. All he wanted to do was work. So Buddy went to work with his dad. He tried coffee. Yuck. He helped answer the phones. Buddy the elf, what's your favorite color? And he sorted packages in a shiny mailroom. But Buddy hadn't forgotten about Jovi, the girl from the store. On Christmas Eve, they skipped down the sidewalk together. He showed her sparkly Christmas trees in shop windows. And Jovi showed Buddy the biggest tree of all in New York City, the Rockefeller Center tree in Rockefeller Center. Buddy was so excited that he interrupted a big meeting at his dad's office to tell him all about Jovi. I'm in love, and I don't care who knows it. But Buddy's dad didn't want to be interrupted. Get out! Buddy was so upset that he decided to run away, and he left a note behind. I'm sorry I ruined your lives and crammed 11 cookies in your VCR. VCR is what we used to play videos with. Now it's just from your phone or your tablet. But ask your parents, they'll know. I don't belong here. I don't belong anywhere. I'll never forget you. Love, Buddy. When Michael told his dad that Buddy was missing, Walter felt sorry for yelling at him, and he knew what he had to do. Walter's boss didn't want him to leave the meeting, but Walter said that nothing was more important than finding his son. And Buddy was on his way out of the city, but then he saw something strange overhead. It was Santa, and he was falling from the sky. Did you guys see Santa? He's right there. Yeah. Buddy found Santa in Central Park. My sleigh can't fly without Christmas spirit, and there's no Christmas spirit anymore, Santa explained. I need an elf's help. But Santa, I'm not an elf. Buddy, you're more of an elf than anyone I've ever met. And suddenly Walter and Michael burst through the trees. They had been looking for Buddy all night. Buddy, I need to apologize to you, Walter said. You've been right about everything, and I don't want you to leave. You're my son, and I love you. I love you too, Dad, says Buddy. While Buddy helped Santa fix his sleigh, Walter and Michael joined Emily and Jovi in the crowd outside Central Park. They needed to help people find their Christmas spirit. And Jovi remembered something that Buddy had told her. Do you remember what it was? The best way to spread Christmas cheer is singing loud for all to hear. Oh, you better watch out. You better not cry. And one by one, everyone began to sing. It was working, Buddy exclaimed. Everyone except Walter. Dad, you have to sing, said Michael. Finally, Walter joined in. Santa Claus is coming to town. Just in the nick of time, Santa's sleigh soared into the sky. There was so much Christmas spirit in the air that the sleigh flew all the way to the top of the Empire State Building. Can you believe that? Look, that's a close-up. The next day was Christmas. It was the best Christmas ever because Buddy got to spend it with his whole family doing all of his favorite things. Singing, giving gifts, and snuggling. And that's the story of how, with a little help, Buddy the elf managed to save Christmas, and his spirit saved a whole lot of other people too. The end. Again, one of my favorite parts. So I hope you enjoyed the book. And again, if you were sitting, I'm glad. And if you were working out, I'm even more happy. So enjoy, everyone.